All right, good morning, everyone. You're welcome to another edition of Random Conversations, a conversational series that addresses basic questions in the mind of youths. So I'm your host, Doluashe Olugbemiro, and today we have a very, 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 very special person on today's conversation as a guest. Now, this person is very, very pivotal in my journey as a person, as a career person. I don't know the English, but yeah, he's very pivotal in my journey as a person. I think my first encounter with him was in 2017 at Startup Academy, and then the next year again at the another edition of Startup Academy. And ever since then, it's been a real privilege to be able to sit under his voice, basically. And that person is Kitan David, and he's here on the call with us. Uh, so someone actually joined this meeting because we are like, I've been hearing a lot about Kitan David. Well, I really need, let's see. So for that person, I'm promising you that it will not be short of your expectations. So today we'll be talking about a very, very what's the word? A rather interesting topic to me, one that I've applied over and over and over and over again on so many accounts. And the for this particular topic, it's something so the topic is this topic because I read it in a book, and funnily, the person who recommended the book to me was Kito. Although he did not directly say enter my DM and be like, Tolu, read this book. He made a review of the book on his status, and I'm like, for Kiton to talk about a book, then it has to be a book. Then I went on, got the book, and read it. So since when I got the book in 2020, I've read it 3 times. I ensure I read it every year because I need to remind myself that there are things and there are possibilities that exist in the world that is not mainstream. There are things that people, uh, there are things that exist in the world that are not mainstream, and not everyone notices them. And even if everyone notices them, not everyone has I call it dead face resolve to walk that path. And that's what we are going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about platforms, the Spielberg's game, leveraging a book or a scenario from Alex Banayan's book, The Third Door. So yes, everybody, you could use your emojis. Okay, there's no emojis here. It's on Zoom that there's emojis. Well, everybody, you have Kitan David. You can give a round of applause in the chat box.
Great to have everybody here. I mean, Tolu did a very nice intro. All right, yeah, let's. I'm kind of blank. When I say blank, not like I don't know what's up. Of course, Tolu has like told me about the program and everything, but I'm blank in the sense that I'm open-minded. So I didn't come here writing aspire to perspire to Maguire like Timaya. I came here to listen to what Tolu and everybody else has to say so that I can flow with the right energy. And then we can get the best out of this short time we have together.
That's exciting. So Kitan, so it's really going to be more. I like the fact that you came blank. It's very, very helpful. So it's going to be more conversational than in that sense. So in 2017, you told us a story, He told me a story. When I mean us now, and when I mean me, it's not as if I was the only one there, but I like to personalize events. So he told me a story. He told me a story of how you, I think how you and was it Paul started out with, even before Nest, how you were going through the whole what is it called? This thing that they used to do in 100 level again. Registration process. Yes, biodata. And it seemed like a very tedious process. And you guys did something no other person, I don't think any other person has done prior to your time. I'm open to being corrected, but you did something, and so I would like you to. So for an introduction, I would like you to tell that story again. I'd like you to tell that story again. I think it will be very, very useful um, in the conversation that we're going to be having today.
Okay, great. So, um, first and foremost, for those that are hearing me talk for the first time, um, I'm a rogue, but I'm not your regular rogue. Like, I'm rebel again, not your regular rebel. So, I always start everything with why. Like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Like, why? Why do I have to go out? Why do I have to come with you? Yeah. And then, yes, there's a thin line to it. I always tell my friends that allow for a little imperfection. And that's how I'm going to start my story. So before, I used to go like, why? If you don't give me a solid reason, I'm not fucking jumping on it. Like, I'm not doing it. So, um, but you don't do that without a trained mind. And I'll get there in this conversation, right? So, at another stage in my life, I got to a place where I started allowing for imperfections, and this is the story. Some of us want everything perfect, and that's negative. Allow for imperfections. Let me start with this parable. If let me pick somebody on this call as my example. Please, I'll be picking people on this call as good and bad examples. Don't take it personal. It's just vibes and inshallah. Okay, Abiola is here. So if Abiola is an artist, like he draws and paints, and then Abiola takes a picture of me, probably is my current DP, and paints it such that he uses like brush, acrylic, pencils, and he paints it so much that you cannot tell the difference between my real picture and Abiola's painting. Do you know the truth? The truth is that Abiola's painting has lost its value. The moment Abiola painted me so much that people cannot tell the difference between which of this is the real picture, which of this is the painted version. That shows that Abiola's painting has lost its value. Now, some of you never thought that way up until now. Because what you think in Abiola's head is, wow, Abiola is a guru. He painted it so much, we do not even know. In fact, 20 people guessed wrong, right? And that's he starts celebrating his geniusity, his brilliance. He starts walking shoulders high, start trying to do more. And my friends and fellows, that explains why the most genius of people are the brokest people on earth, right? Because life is about value. So the moment you painted me so much and we can't tell the difference, then you're just stressing yourself. Why not just I walk into a photo studio and take a picture? So you have to allow for some imperfection so that people can tell that, oh, this is the painted version, this is not the picture. And people can appreciate the painted version for its own guidelines and rules of painting and not of picture. And that is when it has value. So going back, I know like I've dropped some things right now for you to learn. Going back to that story, I resumed 100 level in the Federal University of Technology, Accra. And that was my fourth time of writing JAMB to pass. So I had this feeling like, I mean, when I was in 100 level, there was a GSS3 junior that was in 100 level with me. Like when I was in SS3, the guy was in GS3. So, and now we're in 100 level together because I had to stay back home for 4 years to write JAMB. But age was on my side. I was pretty young, so it didn't really tell off that much. And then there's this registration that you have to do in 100 level. I guess most schools do it, probably except for private schools. You carry one file, you go to head center, carry that file, go to your faculty, go to your department, go to like all this. I told them this thing is bullshit. I am not doing it. And then my friends were like, "Wow, do you want to lose your admission?" I said, "No, I can't lose my admission." FUTA gave me an admission to study computer science. I paid acceptance fee. They gave me the acceptance fee. They gave me an admission letter. So my name is on their database. Why would I download a course form that lists all the courses that I am going to do? The system gave me all the courses I will do. And then I've printed it from the system. Then you now ask me to be going to each department to sign that I want to do the course. No, like it doesn't make sense. I'm not doing. And then they said that if you don't do it, they won't. I sat them down, explained. I said, see, if you don't sign, you are causing problem for them, because the system that printed it that I will be doing mathematics 101 is has also told the MTS department that Kitan David will be doing MTS 101. So if I don't go there to sign, it is actually not my problem. It's their problem. And they will have to call me and beg me to sign. Trust me, it made no sense to my friends. They all went on signing and all of that, blah, 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 blah. And trust me, I didn't do anything. I didn't sign shit. And then 1 week to exam, they pasted my name on the notice board that please, this person should report to the faculty. So. And I went to the faculty, and what it took them like 3 weeks to 3 weeks or 2 months safe to sign. I signed everything in a day because I am disrupting their system. So why are you going to need us and you're going to put the pressure on students? That was very wrong. But I didn't stop there. And that's where I'm a different kind of rogue. I spoke to Paul, and then we created the software that helps that registration easy. Just one click, one stop, from the comfort of your phone, your room, your hostel, while you're chilling with your boyfriend or girlfriend. You can just do that. And we presented it to the school. And it was the beginning of many great things for us as a person, and for the technical department of FUTA. I knew there were 3 vice chancellors before I graduated. I knew those 3 vice chancellors one-on-one. Like, I went to their offices to chill, their house to eat, till I graduated school. Yeah, that's the story.
On a regular day, someone said, "Wow." Yeah, so I'm still as dumbfounded as the first time I heard the story, because no regular person thinks like this, and I mean it with as much boldness as I will say it. No regular person thinks like this, and that's like the core of today's conversation. How do you so the first question, so we're talking about platforms today. Platforms, meaning platform is basically anything that gives us an opportunity to showcase ourselves, our talent, our skills, whatever. And platforms might be people, platform might be events, platform might be anything entirely that gives you an opportunity to show what you can do. That's a platform. So, and in reality, everybody needs a platform. Everybody has gotten on a platform before. So the difference between the people that are able to utilize these platforms and those that are not is that, one, they are able to recognize that they are on a platform. This is an outflow of the conversations we've had earlier on in the year, where we talked about the law of recognition and adopting working systems. So you need to be able to recognize that this is a platform, and what I do here is really going to matter. Maybe not on the grand scale, but in this moment, it is going to matter. And something I picked out of Kiton's story is the fact that he knew that he not signing, though it was a bold move, a very very bold move. He knew that he not signing his course form would cause a disruption to the system, and eventually they'll need him to sign, because they'll need everything go to go smoothly. And after that, there was an opportunity to provide a solution to that said problem. So a lot of us now do not go through all of that stress, though FUTA still ensures that you go through an amount of stress. But a lot of people do not go through all of that stress, and it's because someone somewhere, um, it, 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 10 or I don't know how many years ago, but a lot of years ago, decided to, let me use this word, to be stubborn and not go with the mainstream, or not go with the norm and not go with what is acceptable. So the first question I have for Kitan is, so how do you recognize platforms? How do you recognize that an event or a person, or whatever is a platform, an opportunity for you to, a relationship that you can make, or an opportunity that you can seize to be able to get to the next place or to be able to make the next step work?
Okay, let me start like this. Unfortunately, I'm believing that in this room, a lot of our parents are not 1% of the 1%. If there's anybody or people in this room that your parent or you yourself is 1% of the 1%, we are probably less than 1% in this room right now. So there's no roadmap in the world, no fucking roadmap anywhere for a child of nobody to be somebody without knowing anybody. Like, there is no roadmap for that. You get, and then it becomes a jungle race, because even the guy that you're looking at and saying that, this guy they try, this guy they also they work hard, he does not fucking know where he's going. It's just trying. The only people that seem like they know where they are going are people that have actually broken into that space. They are already in that 1% of 1%. They can tell their son or daughter, do this, do this, do this, do this, do that, and I'll plug you into this. And that makes the system safe. And yeah, they will always have one child as the black sheep of the family that wants to do something else. And then they will feel like, oh, this boy wants to come out, this girl wants to come and disrupt our wealth and what our grandfather has built. Because for every family that exists on earth, somebody broke out first and decided to create a family chain. So they would not allow. I know, like, yeah, like I hear people saying rich people should allow their daughter or their son marry anybody. I'm like, are you stupid? Like, guys, if you know what it is to break into wealth, you cannot watch your daughter marry anybody. Like, you can't just sit down and just watch your daughter or son go and marry somebody from somewhere and say they fell in love. But broke people that don't understand the process says, oh, let them marry anybody. No, if you would marry them, there will be a war. The person has to fight a war to make them marry. And then, even with the war, the person that is coming into the family has to pass some tests eventually to make the war end. And that is why it mostly ends in the marriage not happening, or even that child being disowned. Because our grandfather, our father, our great grandfather paid the huge sacrifice to be here and has created a roadmap for us. So if you want to be a black sheep and bring somebody in, we have to understand the person. And if you say, oh, you're not bringing somebody in, but you want to do what is not planned for you, they will start creating trust fund for you. So what I mean by trust fund is that they start saving money for that guy or girl that wants to go rogue, that wants to do our own thing, that wants to do stuff. So that whatever you are doing, there is always a soft balance in case it doesn't work and you come back. And the truth is that I'm telling you for a fact, they don't get fooled by media. 90% of children of elites that did not follow their father or mother's rule and went their own way actually failed and came back to follow the system. But you know why we don't know? We did not hear their story because they are back in the system. So those 10% that actually succeeded being rogue to their elite father and mother is what we are celebrating as the part, is what media is pushing, and that's wrong. So coming back to platforms, it tells you that if it is a jungle race, look at yourself in a bush, in a forest. Nobody knows the way, right? And then everybody is clearing the road. So look at that, your guy now that you're looking at, that is very hardworking and all of that. He doesn't know the way, but you know what? He's taking his cutlass or his axe and he's cutting down trees, he's cutting down bushes, and he's just making way. And then you look at him like, oh, guy, he's doing well. Blah, 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 blah. He's really doing well. No, he is not. He's just working hard and hopefully praying for something great to happen. Now, at the end, luck and chance has a great part to play in what we do in life. So luck and chance cannot be something that we plan our lives on. And that's where religion has been one of man's greatest problem, because religion celebrates luck and chance a lot. So excuse me 1 minute, please. Yeah, sorry for the break in transmission. So religion celebrates luck and chance a lot. And then that if somebody comes to church and says, so I was not really qualified for the job, but they gave me the job, praise the Lord. Yeah, I will praise the Lord with you. If you're my friend and that happens to you, I'll celebrate with you, I'll pop champagne. And I will be glad with you that is luck. You are just one of those 1% that luck has decided to favor. Right? But since we cannot hold luck and we can't hold chance, let's just do what we want, what we can do, and let luck take their time. Let chance do whatever it wants to do. Now, going back, I like talking in parables a lot. Now, going back to my parable, imagine that 100 of us are on the sea, right? And then there was like the ship capsized and the captain died. We do not know anything about sailing. We don't know anything about compass or anything. But we were able to get one boat each. I want you to follow my story well. We were all able to get one boat each from the ship. But the captain is dead. We can't even find the compass. And all of us are in the middle of the sea, right? And then there is this guy. About 3 of us are paddling. We're just paddling towards one direction. Let's paddle. Let's move. Let's go. Let's get things right. Let's move. And then the others are looking at us like, wow. This, of course, there'll be two fractions of the others. There's one fraction that says, wow, this guy is taking his life serious. This guy is doing well. Wow, I'm impressed. But guess what? We don't know where we are going. But we are paddling. Now, there's the other faction that looks at us and like, what's wrong with these ones? I too know. Where do you know that you're even going? Now, the 97 others, and that's like one of the statistics in life, it's always 3%. The 97 others are just going to move with the tides. Now, in moving with the tides, there will be one person that the tide just somehow moved away. So he is not paddling anywhere. He's going with the tide, but somewhere in the breakage of the tide has taken him somewhere else that is not taking the 96 others to. I hope you're following the story. And that one place now happens to be a shore, a very beautiful shore. And then that's the story the 96 others celebrate. Like, wow, look at Eniola. Eniola did not take Esau alive that serious that much. See now, Eniola just went to school. Eniola met this guy. Eniola met this girl. And then introduced her to this. Eniola now is a big girl. Eniola has left the trenches. Now, the remaining 3 people are still paddling. And 96 people, because they are following the tides, are going to land at the same shore. Now, learn this today and learn for good. The probability that the shore that life is taking you to by following the tides is a good shore is 0. It cannot be a good shore. Oh, someone says, okay, in terms of chances, in terms of probability, what if there's a lot of gold on that shore? Everything is about value and population. If life takes 96 of you to a shore where there is a lot of gold, and takes one person that they also not take his own paddling serious to one other shore where there is no gold, and the 3 of us goes to paddle to another shore where it's just plantain. In life, our plantain becomes more valuable than your gold, because 96 of you owns gold, 3 of us owns plantain, one person owns the land. So even if there is gold where life is taking you through, because you are not taking your life serious, it's taking all of you there, the gold becomes valueless immediately you land there. The 3 of us that owns the largest plantain plantation in the world, plantain will become more valuable than your gold. Tolu, are you following? Because I can't ask everybody.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So plantain becomes more valuable than your gold. So I don't want to be with you going to that fucking gold shore that you might never get to. Because that's where life has always taken everybody through. Because there's no roadmap for you. There's no roadmap. Now, the three of us landed at the plantain plantation. And then one person has landed at the coconut plantation. That one person too did not take his life serious, just that luck. Now, we start instituting structures. And
No fun.
somebody's mic is on.
Yeah, you
Please mute your mic. Okay. Now, we start instituting structures for that plantain. So we start creating things like plantain constitution. We start creating things like visas, like passports. How do you come to our plantation? Because now we are in the plantain plantation, and then we are just three that owns it. Then we start fighting who owns the largest share. If we are capitalists, if we are socialists, we start sharing it each with one another. But then we protect it. We protect the institution, and that is why American visa is more difficult to collect than Kenyan visa. That's the simple reason. Because it has now become a question of value. And by the time we do that, every child in the shore of 96 people that also wants to take his life serious starts thinking of how he can migrate to, I'm talking about where the root cause of the problem of men came from. He starts thinking of how can I go and be with these plantain people? Do you know why it is difficult for him to go and be with the plantain people? Because the forefathers that landed at the gold shore that life took them to did not create any roadmap. They were just following tides. So it is now difficult for their son, their daughter, not to even talk of their great grandson, to now draw a roadmap of how he can be in the plantain plantation. Do you get? So you need platforms. Yeah. And now, what does platform do? Platform is first you being hungry. See, we don't see things the way things are. We see things the way we are. That's the truth. We never see things the way things are in life. We see things the way we are. So by the time you get the first platform that you need to give yourself is to know that everybody in that show of 96 that you are in looks at you and can tell that you are hungry to leave this place. That's the first platform you need. Your fellow people in the trenches or in the place where you are, whatever your trenches is, should be able to look at you and say, we are here together, but Tolu is very hungry to live here. Kunle is very hungry to live here. Folake is very hungry to live here. They should be able to tell that about you. That's the first platform you need. And it now start driving conversations. There are some things they will not invite you to again because you don't vibe with us. You feel like you're bigger than us now. You feel like you're onto something great. Blah, 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 blah. You see, that is what you can control. The moment you've taken that personality as a person and you run into somebody that has a glimpse of where you are going, the next phase of where you are going, the person can see themselves in you. Every billionaire, of course, there's nothing absolute in science. Every billionaire can look at a young man that is not a billionaire, that is hustling with his life, and tell to a 60% probability that this boy is going to be a billionaire. Why can they do that? They can see themselves in him. Not that he likes the kind of women they like or the kind of men they like, kind of wine they like. They see the same hunger. They see the same ingredients that made them. And they start showing you the way. And from each platform you get to, you start getting more hungry, and then you start going. Like platforms is an old course, it's an old, but I'm not trying to give you step by step of what you do, because that will not work. You always need to call me. So I've done step 1, I've done step 2, and I don't know how to do that. Instead, I'm just giving you OT, like straight OT of how you can just navigate this. Because platform is anything. Where you live is platform. The person you are talking to is platform. Where you go to watch football is platform. I was talking to a boy one day. I said, you love football so much. Where do you watch football? Say you watch at the viewing center, 100 naira. He goes to watch football. I said, you should stop watching football at the viewing center for 100 naira. That's not for you. Go to an expensive club. Guess what? How much do you watch football at the club? Free. All you need to do is buy a bottle of Star. if you drink beer. If you don't drink beer, ask for a bottle of water. Rich people go to lounges to drink water. Ask for a bottle of water, cross your leg, and watch Real Madrid and Chelsea. You will watch it for free. Nobody's going to ask you to pay. You will see how richer people shout goal. You will see how they celebrate Chelsea different from your gang. You can't be watching Chelsea here and you are dreaming to be flying a private jet in the next 10 years of your life. No. Start watching Chelsea where private jet people watch Chelsea. Or at least where people that have 3 cars watch Chelsea. I think I should just stop there before I finish your time and you're not going to ask another question.
No, I think you answered 2 questions in one. You answered 2 questions in one. I wanted to read an excerpt of Steven Spielberg's story from The Third Door, but I think I'll just scan it. If you want, he's going to read it online. Because the illustration you gave perfectly explains platforms. It perfectly explains platform. So I was writing so a few things I was able to write when you were speaking. So when you started by saying that, so for the 96 of us here who are on the island, who have all gold and stuff like that, the gold one becomes valueless. So it doesn't really matter how much resources you have. If every one of you have access to those same resources, then the resources, no matter how the resources has perceived, its perceived value is nothing in that sense. So firstly, you have to recognize, or you have to ensure that you recognize yourself first as someone who wants to leave this place. And that perception sort of defines it changes your mindset, and you begin to give off this aura of, I am leaving this place. And every other person who wants to leave that place sees you as a Moses. And then I think that's one thing. And I think that's one thing I got. So it basically starts off with recognition. And then you made a very salient point, the fact that if a billionaire looks at you today, he can know if you are going to become a billionaire. Why? Because he has seen himself, or he sees himself in you. And it's not really based on the fact that you like the same things that they like, or you have the same, should I call it resolve? You have that grit. So in your words, you used hunger. You have that hunger in you. And that, I think this was a key point that I saw in the book The Third Door, when Elliot met Alex. You know, there was this scenario where Elliot just latched onto Alex and was like, yo guy, I'm going to help you get or achieve your dreams and stuff like that. And Elliot made a very excellent, he made a statement that why he does this is because he sees him as a brother. He sees him as someone who is walking the same path like he did. Now, the next question, which I think would be like the last question for today, can we really tell the difference if this platform or this platform is worth climbing, or this platform is worth this opportunity is worth leveraging, and stuff like that? So can we really tell the difference? And if we can't tell the difference, I know you've made a point of everybody is in this jungle hacking their way through, but is there, and then you've already made another point that there's no set in stone roadmap to get to the other side. But can we really tell the platforms that are worth climbing? And if we can, what are the metrics that we can use to evaluate that, oh, this platform is worth climbing? You get my question?
Yes, I got your question. So going back to what I initially said, we don't have a roadmap to live here to where we are going, because the people, like, either you believe in God or you are a free thinker or you believe in science, we will all agree that the first man and the first woman in the world were neither rich or broke. They were just beings. So humans began to get populated, and then people began to amass resources to themselves, and then some people started getting rich, and some people started getting poor. So poverty is man-made. That's the first thing you need to know. Poverty is not made by the universe. Poverty is not made by God. It's not made by the devil. It's not made by negative energy. It's made by men. And then we are fighting it. So the reason why from here we cannot go there, it is because our forefathers, we are first a representation of sperm and egg. We are children of people. We are functions of environment. Our forefathers that put us here did not roadmap themselves to be here. They followed the tides to be here. And if you follow the tides for 3 days, you can't tell your journey. Now, the other guys that are there, their forefathers walked to be there. So they have a roadmap. Although not completely right, but they have a roadmap because tides change, season changes, the world changes, the earth changes, and all of that. So it makes it harder for us because now we have to create a roadmap for ourselves that we are not sure works. I mean, if you saw the movie Vikings, it explains it why they had to sail to the other side of the sea for the first time in their lives, not knowing what is at the other side of the sea, but they had to do it. And then when they got it, they now had a roadmap and decided to explore more. So how do you know what platforms to sell? Now, to be honest, right, to be very, very honest, is your hunger is the light that will guide you. That is why first you need to have a trained mind. You need to have your hunger is your compass. While you are on a different vibe than everybody else, you will not feel good about a certain point that you are in your life. Like some platforms will be given to you and something will not feel right about it. Now, don't misquote me, because that thing that does not feel right about it and you want to leave could be to your own detriment. It could be to the fact that you've been too religious in life. It could be to the fact that you have a school of thoughts that is negating your journey. So the first thing you need to get right is your mind. You need to get your mind right. Now, to get your mind right, you do not need any roadmap. You don't need to be rich to get your mind right. There are foolish people that are rich. One of the first things that broke my heart when I started doing stuff with rich people is when I met foolish rich people. Like I'm not joking. I have met more foolish people, rich people in life than wise rich people. So wealth, power, fame has nothing to do with wisdom in the first place. Oh, they are very broke-ass wise people. Like that guy is wise, but he has not paid his house rent. Right? Like they are foolish rich people, they are tall rich people, they are fat rich people, they are slim rich people, they are built rich people, they are obese rich people, dark, like all kind of rich. So your mind has nothing to do with that first. Like you do not, for example, if I can be living in a slum and start building the right mind. Now, by the time I start living in Beverly Hills or Banana Island, my right mind will be now polished. It will be polished well because of the environment I found myself. But environment in itself does not give you the right mind. So that is why you can be born in Banana Island and grow up in Banana Island and you are the most idiotic person the world will ever experience. Same with Beverly Hills. So you get to platforms and then something in your trained mind does not feel right about your platform. You leave. Another act to it is if you are lucky to find out somebody that grew up in your own condition. Now, you cannot use one person's pattern. It has to be like 10 or 20 people that grew up in your own condition, under your circumstances, and went steps higher in their career, in their life, in their finance, following some routes that can also help you. Now, you don't copy styles, you copy principles. So, what's the difference between styles and principle? Styles is okay, this guy started playing lawn tennis. He joined a lawn tennis club. That's a style. Principle, you don't copy the style. You don't say, okay, I want to go and join a lawn tennis club. No, it might not work for you. You copy the principle. The principle behind that is that it started recreating with people that had a like mind, or the kind of mind you wanted to have, or the kind of status you wanted to have. So look in your own environment. What recreation can you do? For you now, it might not be lawn tennis. It might be go to play football somewhere else. For example, I play football right now. And where I play football in a place that is like about an hour journey from where I live, right? And I would rather play football there than play football in the football stadium close to my house. The difference is that the people that play football where I play football are people that like have amassed like $20 million for their startup. So it's not like because of $20 million. No, if I want to play football because of $20 million, I know some other places where I can go and play football with people that own $20 million. But then I'll be playing football with rich people and with foolish people. Sorry. This set of people are people that are building their companies, they are building their organizations such that they've risen from nothing. Either they were broke or rich, and they've been able to build it to a point where they could have $20 million and they're still hungry for more. And that's the kind of mind I have at this stage of my life. $20 million, $100 million, and that is where I go to play football. And that's like an hour journey from where I live. But I would rather do that and play next street. That's you also don't now say football. You have to copy the principle behind it, not the style. So that's why you have to train your mind first. That mind that can even look at the style and take a principle out of it is not a small mind, it's a trained mind. And that mind comes from reading books, that mind comes from conversations. YouTube is there. Listen to people talk, like the kind of people you look up to. Go and listen to what they say. What kind of conversations do they have? Watch videos. Now those things sound simple. Watch videos on YouTube. It's hard. It's very hard. By the time you watch all those kind of videos, you will sleep. Yes, you will first sleep because your mind does not want you to grow. It is easier to jump down than to jump up. But the more you keep doing it, the better it is for you.
I think that killed it. That killed it. That's. I think that's a good conclusion. I really do not have. I don't have what to add to it to make it better. That's a very dope ass conclusion. Thank you so much, Kito. We have about 10 minutes on the clock, and I would like to take questions from anyone who would want to ask them. Does anybody have questions? So you only get one chance to meet Kitan David on a call where you are not going to pay an entry fee to enter. It doesn't come very often. So if you have a question, use your opportunity now. All right, Joshua, you have a question. You can unmute and ask your question.
All right. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay. My name is Joshua Wulabi. You were talking about some copying principles. I did not really understand, like, the ideology behind that. Because you're like, I watch YouTube videos, try to study their patterns and stuff like that. I do a lot of things like that, but I don't really see the results. So I want to try and understand better from probably your perspective or something.
All right, Joshua, I'm going to ask you some questions. What do you do at the moment?
I'm a student in FUTA, so I'm just learning stuff. Like
All right, Joshua. So this is the first and the last time. I don't know if this is the first. This is the last time somebody should ask you, what do you do? And you say you're a student.
Right?
Did you hear
All
me?
right. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what do you do?
I'm a visual identity designer, currently branching into UI UX.
Great. So you are a visual identity designer going to school, not a student doing UI UX, not a student doing design. They are two separate things. And that's a mental positioning you have to get, right? So you're a visual identity designer that is going to school. And that's what's going to happen. In another few years, you're a visual identity designer that is getting married. You're a visual identity designer that is traveling to the US. You're a visual identity designer that wants to go and play golf, not the other way around. Now, what's your next immediate goal? What's your next immediate goal?
I'm trying to launch some sort of community for designers, but like a lot.
Great. So you should list like 5 people that has community for designers, and you should look at their principles, not their styles. For example, it might not even be community for designers. It might be people that have communities for LGBTQ, communities for designers, community for developers, community for architects. There's this book I recommend. You cannot grow your mind without reading. So there's this book I recommend for you. You have to find it. The next time I see you in life, which I'm very sure I will see you, because I rarely speak to a few people. I rarely speak to people that will not eventually become great. That's one gift that God has given me. The few people I've spoken to in my life, a large percentage of them, we always meet on bigger platforms. I want you to tell me that, oh, you read the book and the book helped you a lot. So the title of the book is Still Like an Artist. Still Like an Artist. If you read that book, you understand what copying principles and not styles are. So Kitan David has a style around building a community around product designers, around NFTs and blockchain. Otemoyowa Prosper has a style around why you cannot. I have principles, but without meeting me on this call, I can't give you my principles. So why I said copy principles, not styles, is that styles is what you readily see. Principles is like the back end. Principle is the thing that was at the back that now created the style, but you can't see it. So because people see styles, they just copy styles. Oh, if Otemoyowa Prosper announced on Twitter, they let me to announce on Twitter. It started in Babcock, so let me to rush to Babcock and go and do it. No, look at the principle. So for principles, you need a mind. I told you, you need a trained mind. And one book that can accelerate your mind to start seeing principles in styles is Still Like an Artist. Read the book Still Like an Artist. And everybody else here should read it. Still Like an Artist. Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah. So I would even recommend you, after you reading Still Like an Artist, you read the next one, Show Your Work, and you read the third one, Keep Going. So Austin Kleon did justice to what it means to be a creative, from stealing like an artist to being able to show your work, and then even after that to keep going. So read the whole thing. I bought Still Like an Artist in 2020. I read it in 2021 again. I read it again in 2022. So there are some books that are at the top of my shelf that I read every single year to start the year, because there's a mindset you need to start the year. There's a mindset you need to be able to recognize opportunities out there in the world, and that's one thing Kitan emphasized when he said that we should train our minds. So the next person, God's love. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
All right, good morning. So I think my question has been answered, but I'm still going to ask it. And it's along the lines of how do you build a principled mind? And then how do you get to that level? Like, okay, how do you identify such opportunities or such environments where you need to, let's say, buy water in like a really expensive restaurant just to meet like people who have a certain level of mindset? Like, how do you identify wise rich people and environments where you can thrive like that? Like, is this something that just comes to you, or is this something that you deliberately look out for? It's almost like, okay, how do you get principled mind, and then from there, like, how do you keep moving forward?
Okay, so I have, like I said, I've answered the principled mind. So I will answer that. To read those books, that answers principled mind. Now, how do you identify the environment to plug into? The one of the things that the trenches has done for everybody, and even if I'm sorry to say, if your father and mother is a professor, you're still in the trenches. So you're just in uneducated trenches, right? Now, if you, of course, I mean Nigerian professors. Now, if you, so I was going to talk about one thing the trenches has done. It has made lifestyle a sin. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what kind of lifestyle do I want to have? Yeah. So it's not about the money. Like, that's one thing. People chase money, and then they chase money their whole lives and they don't get money. There's nothing wrong with having a lifestyle dream. What's your own kind of lifestyle? Okay, so myself and God's love and Tolu, I want to use three of us like a three different lifestyle now. Three of us can be equally rich in terms of net worth and in terms of cash. But probably Tolu's lifestyle is that every time he's going out, he has like a 4 Cadillac black on black. There's a lot of cars following him. He gets down, he walks majestically, blah, 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 blah. And then my own lifestyle, I am equally as rich as him, but my whole lifestyle is that I live in a very, very beautiful apartment with my wife and kids, and we have 2 Rolls Royce. And every time we are going out, I take a Range Rover, and then, like that kind of lifestyle. And then God's love's lifestyle is I do not go anywhere that does not have airports because I fly private jet. And yeah, I kind of like don't mind the car that comes to pick me, but we are all equally rich. But the world has talked down lifestyle a lot, right? The world has talked down lifestyle so much that it makes it look as if lifestyle is the same. Lifestyle, so you can pick the lifestyle you want. Now, that lifestyle, do you know the truth? Myself, God's love, and Tolu, we still have some things in common that we do at that level of wealth. Because at that level of wealth, we know ourselves. We hang out at some places together. We need to identify those kind of places. Okay, so this is what I want to be, right? Good. I want to be a product designer. I want to be a fashion designer, I want to do something great. But what lifestyle do I want to have? Now, the people that have that lifestyle, I'm sure if you want to be like a great fashion designer now, but that's what you want to be, and you want to make X a month, you want your fashion to be on New York Fashion Week, all this kind of stuff. But this is the lifestyle you want. Now, that lifestyle, there are some architects that have it. There are some software engineers that have it. There are some startup founders that have it. There are some automobile engineers that have it. There are some golfers and basketballers that have it. And that's the kind of people that we go, because of their lifestyle, you will meet all of them in that environment. And that environment is not an environment that will change your life literally. The way people think about it is, when you go to such environment, you will meet somebody and say, hi, my name is God's Love. I'm a fashion designer. And they will just give you a job of 50 million naira. No, nothing like that works. Yes, there are stories like that, but it's 1%. What works is that those environments helps to shape your mind to sink more into that environment and attract resources. So the lifestyle is how you pick environments. Where do these people go? So you meet people of your lifestyle, but yet in different professions. Now, if you are a photographer and you join the Nigerian Association of Photographers, you cannot make money from there. The Nigerian Association of Photographers cannot make you rich, because the job anybody in that association will give to you is a job that he does not like, a job that he rejects. So if Kelechi Amadiobi is in the Nigerian Association of Photographers and you worked and you went there and you met him, what's going to happen between you and Kelechi Amadiobi is that if somebody called Kelechi Amadiobi for a 1 million naira shoot, he's going to call you because he doesn't do shoots of 1 million. Right? So what happens there is policy. But now when you look at environments of lifestyle, that is where you not even meet Kelechi Amadiobi, right? Then you probably meet somebody like Shane Walking of Channels. Who do you meet again? You meet CK, you meet Ariasta, you meet Don Jazzy. You meet Tony Elumelu. You meet different kind of people, and that environment can help you shape your mind, right? So you pick environments from lifestyle. Now, for example, look at somebody like Pastor Adeboye. He's equally as rich as some of Nigeria's billionaires, but you will not find him in Cubana at night, shutting down Cubana with Andre and Moet and Azul. You won't find him there because that's not his lifestyle. So, but then one time I met Pastor Adeboye was at the golf course. He plays golf. As busy as he is, as spiritual as he is, he plays golf. That's a kind of lifestyle. And in that same golf course, I met this former senator, what's this guy's name? This Senate president that is from Benue State, David Mark, in the same golf course, right? If Adeboye to David Mark, bring people together, and none of Adeboye or David Mark has given me a job. None of them has said, oh, great, nice to meet you, Kitan. Oh, you play golf well. Come and do our website. Come and revamp this technology thing in our company. Come and help us with blockchain technology. No, none of them has said that. None of them has given me anything that's given me 1 naira. But those conversations, those meetups, that environment has shaped my mind, and it works like magic. It makes me hungry for some more things. It makes me real. It makes me alive. And I still want more. There are still environments I still want to be in that I am not yet there. Environment gets to the kind of restaurants you eat, where you watch football, the kind of places you go to recreate, to have fun, the church you go, the mosque you go, they are all lifestyles. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Goslow.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. This is another God's love. Okay, this will be the last question for today. Yeah, this will be the last question for today. God's love, Naji. Please ask your question.
Okay, all right.
Sorry,
Thank you
before
so much, Sir Kitan.
Love to ask
Sorry.
question. Sorry, excuse me, please. You will ask your question. There's something we can do, right? Especially when this thing is rounding up. So, like everything that you've learned, don't let me say learned. Everything that struck you, either you understand it or you're still grasping to understand. Let us start writing it in the in-call message session. Just write it and drop it because we hear things differently. So the fact that you now write it again can help another person. Oh yes, he said this too. He said that too. So you might think you heard everything myself and Tolu said, but literally you didn't hear. You didn't hear everything. Even me, I didn't hear everything. So everything that is still worrying your mind right now, or that is eating you differently, start putting it in the in-call message section so that people can start to read. It's like somebody reading into your notes. Yeah, God's love.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate this opportunity. I wanted to ask, in navigating these platforms and everything you've talked about, I think one of the major issues that is funding, especially in terms of resources you want to access, and not just that. Let's say, perchance you're starting up a brand or something like that. There's always this issue of funding. So, my question is, how do you actually go about it? How do you, number one, how do you go to get funding for a particular project you are working on? And then secondly, while growing, while navigating the platform, there are certain resources that for you to acquire, you need to pay, you need to invest a certain amount of fund, resource in the form of cash. So how do you know? And a lot of them are out there now. How do you know which ones you find some that is actually narrowed down to what they're actually doing, and obviously is a very, very good platform for you to access. But then for you to access these several platforms, how do you know, like, your funding cannot obviously take all of them? So how do you pick which ones which ones to access, and how much your money can access? And then, like, how do you do the whole gambling so that you probably don't get broke, very, very broke, trying to do all these things at the same time? And how do you avoid the ones you should? How do you just maneuver through the whole process? I don't know if you understand my point, though.
Yes, I do understand your question. And I am very happy that you asked that question. And then I will be happier if at the end of me answering this question that you will never need to ask that question again. You see, this question you asked is the greatest lie that has come from people that has put us here because they allowed the tides lead them here. And they did not draw a roadmap down to, because when the tide leads you somewhere, there's no roadmap there. So they don't know the roadmap back to even be neutral before they start going to somewhere great. And now they thought of, and I'm going to back it up with data. So everything I'm saying is not my principles, right? So I'm going to back this up with data. The most successful people in the world, in any career, in any profession, in any business, has not been money. And let me tell you why. Money is in circulation. Money will be given to you at every level of life you get to. One of the things I told myself early in life is that, Kitan, you are very, very responsible for how broke you are. You are totally responsible for how much money is in your account. You are very responsible for how much access you have. And the lie has now been told that, oh, it's because he has money. Somebody breaks out into some higher level of wealth, they'll say because his father is rich. Somebody does something, they'll say because he married a rich man. Do you know how many girls married a rich man and there's still nothing to do with their life, right? So, and I will tell you the first reason, there are four major reasons, right? And then the first two carry 70%, while the last two carry 30%. The first major reason why successful people has been very successful is the timing at which they did things. See, let's pick, for example, Zoom. Zoom has been existing before the pandemic, but Zoom got so big during the pandemic. That's timing. Now, timing has a great part of luck in it, right? But that luck is opportunity meeting preparation. So pandemic happened to everybody. Did you have a Zoom? No. If you had a Zoom, you would have blown too. Chances are high you would have, because it was not only Zoom that blew. People even used Google Meet for the first time during the pandemic. So timing is first, right? Then the second thing is the idea. Now, remember, both timing and idea carry 70% of why successful people got successful. The second thing is the idea. What idea are they bringing to the table? Now, when you think of idea, again, one thing the trenches have done for us is idea for a business, idea for a this. No, there's ideas, there's concepts, there's insights. Osama bin Laden bombing 9/11 is an idea. No, that guy is a smart guy. He bombed 9/11 on September 9. Like the thing was 9/11 and it was 9/11 and it was 911 that you have to call. Like, can you see all those mathematics that went into Osama bin Laden pull it off that stunt? Now, for Osama bin Laden to pull off that stunt, he knew he's a terrorist, but he paid the price of joining the FBI. Osama bin Laden was a member of the FBI for, I think, 10 years or 12 years. He joined the FBI for 12 years. Why? I want to commit so much atrocity to America. I want to reach the highest echelon of the organization that catches the people that commit atrocities, so that I will understand how to beat the atrocities. Can you see timing? So it's not just luck for Osama bin Laden, right? And Osama bin Laden was one of the first terrorists in the world to beat FBI technology for up to 12 years. Why? Because he was an FBI himself. How many years they used to catch Saddam Hussein? Almighty Gaddafi was caught in a few months, right? Because of this. So the idea to do a program, the idea to change where you live, the idea to, so it's not just about business, it's the ideas. And ideas is a stage, is many ideas. Again, it's not money. It's not money. I cannot overemphasize this. It's not money. The biggest deals I have done were not signed in an office. I'm like, hey, Kitan, you should be able to do this. How much are you going to do this? They don't even tell you how much. Yeah, I'm talking about the biggest deals. There are deals they tell you how much. Somebody's going to call you and say, we have X $1,000, X million to do this. Can you do this for us? Over a cup of tea, over arguing which girl is finer than which girl. That's what happens for the biggest deals. The smaller ones are the ones I chase, and the client abuses my father and my life. And well, I still get the job and do it and deliver. Right, that's not 1 and 2. Number 3, now again, so timing and idea is 70% of the 4. You see the remaining 2, they're like 30%. Now, in that 2, look at that last 2 as another 100%. Number 3 is 70% of it. And number 3 is the team behind the idea. And they are working towards the right timing. Now, the team, why is the team so important? If the idea fails, a great team will always come up with another idea. Then number 4 is funding. You see, when you get the first 3 right, the funding will come. The funding fee is equally hard, but it's the lowest on the spectrum, right? So, for example, if you pick I just told you how I helped somebody hack it. You want to meet with people, you want to build a social network, you are watching football where they pay 100 naira, and then you sweat to shout Chelsea, Real Madrid. When you can just stroll down to a hotel that is just on the next street or down the road, or probably take Uber or a car to the place and get bottled water and sit down and watch the match for free. And then while watching the match, you're able to converse with somebody that says, hey bro, where do you live now? What do you do now? And say, you're onto this, and they give you insights and stuff around it. Now, when anybody is talking to you in life, the person is doing 2 things. The person is looking at the quality of idea you carry, and it shows in your use of speech. Even if we are talking about breast and yash as guys, if guys are sitting there, they are arguing yash and breast, right? The kind of things that come out from your mouth when you are talking shows the quality of ideas you carry. Do you objectify women when you say that? Do you talk trash? They can smell it. Then the next thing people are looking at when they are speaking to you for the first time is you. Like, that's the team. Who is this guy? When somebody stops you on the road and say, hey bro, please, where is number 4, so and so street? You are looking at 2 things, and that's how we make you assign. Like the quality of how he said it out and who he is. What is he wearing? Does he wear a good cologne? Is he smelling nice? Now, the first thing is what he said. Somebody walks up to you and say, hey, bro, how far now? Please, here's number 4, Jagmabi Street. You can just point and say, go there. Or you say, me, I don't know. And somebody walks up to you and say, good afternoon, sir. Please, I am very sorry to bother you. I am looking for number 4. You can say, and I don't know. I really don't know. Let's go and ask this woman together. Now, another person pulls up to you in a car and say, good afternoon, young man. Please, we are lost. We are looking for the same 3 people have spoken to you. But what's the difference? And the accent, the level at which they speak, and who they are by how they appear. I used to tell people that work for me, see, even if you live in the slum, don't go outside your house to go and buy granuts and pepper with boxers. Wear a clothes, wear a cologne, go there and buy pepper. Let everybody in the trenches know you are not for the trenches. That is what it should be. That's how it should look like. I don't mean you should wear suit and tie, but no, don't wear boxers and singlets. Say, hey, give me pepper there. No, that's not done. Because they will not even, that woman that you are talking to sell pepper, an opportunity will come to her. She won't recommend it to you because you don't look like that. Since we are not in charge of luck and timing, we can do everything such that when luck and timing comes, people can direct it our way. And then God's love, by the time you get all these 3 right, you see that money, it will stroll in. It will stroll in. The first time I would raise money for my business, I sat down at the table where investors are arguing for me on how much I should raise. And I was looking at it like, wow, this is how it works. Somebody said, no, I have to drop this money first before you drop it. Don't worry now. It depends. And I was like, it beats everything I've ever known about raising money, about this, about that. And that is what I want you to understand. It has nothing to do with funds. It has nothing to do with gambling. And by the time money will be needed to do, it will just roll in. Focus on the timing, the idea, and the quality of you and the people you work with. It will solve 90% of your problem. Thank you.
I think we
All
can
right.
end it here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I think we can end it here. Kitan, it's been an amazing session with you. Thank you for your time. I apologize for taking 15 minutes extra. Okay, team, not team. Okay. Yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you so much for your time. So everyone, we've come to the end of today's conversation. So for everyone that's on the call, yes, for those of you asking, the recording would be available. Yeah, we should upload it to YouTube very soon, very soon, probably before Monday. It will be up on YouTube. And for everyone who registered via the link, I would send it directly to your email. So because I know some of us joined without, because we saw the link on either Kitan's status or my status or anywhere else. But yes, you'd have the recordings one way or the other. Thank you so much, Kitan. It's been a very big pleasure. I do not take this for granted. At every point in time, I get to have a conversation with you. I am mind blown. I am mind blown. So for me, start of my journey was Startup Academy in 2017 with Kitan David. It was so good I had to attend the one in 2018 because I can still remember the first question we were asked, or I was asked, what is money and how rich do you want to be? Those 2 questions redefined how I saw life and how I recognized opportunities around me. So thank you so much, Kitan. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye from the trenches.
Bye.
Peace out.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.